Hi, I'm Niels Johnson, and this is another in a series that I'm calling a commentary on the risk landscape. This particular video is just another piece that I'm trying to put together to lay a foundation, really, to start talking about what the security landscape or the risk landscape will require in the future. This one is about diligence, and where at first blush it may be very obvious those things I'm going to be putting before you, diligence is a two-way street, and the way we're heading right now is going to be the obvious part. Hopefully I can give you some new information when we get to the diligence or the street going in the opposite direction. It is said that doing security is kind of like taking a shower. If you take a shower, nobody cares. If you don't take a shower, everybody cares. Okay, so Symantec's business is doing security. Your business is not to do security. Your business is to manufacture widgets. And the people that you're supporting on a day-to-day basis, their expectation is that they'll just be able to make widgets and do whatever portion or part of widget production that they do. And the security of doing all of that is left to IT's hands. Well, the truth is, in this day, for IT to do a legitimate job of just keeping the place basically secure, it's going to require some diligence in, frankly, some sleeper areas. First area of diligence, that's kind of a sleeper, and I'm just acknowledging that. The first three words in any good security strategy has always been, is today, and always will be backup, backup, and backup. Doing backup has to be a part of the security strategy because bad things happen to good people, and when the bad thing happens, there's going to be this expectation that you're going to be able to right the ship. I'm going to do a series, a video in the future called The 10 Commandments of Security. I'm going to draw from it twice during this particular video, and I'll come back and get down into other levels of granularity there. But the whole point is, security is an art form, and it is that backup and recovery process that will literally have your back when the bad thing happens. Backup has to be a normalized, timed portion of the security strategy. And the second piece that may be very obvious and frankly can get tedious is the concept of patching. Commandment number 2 is thou shalt patch, and thou shalt patch regularly. Interestingly enough, if you're so inclined, there are technologies available today that can check your environment for specific patch levels against where they're supposed to be, automatically download those patches and install them. So this could all be automated. But the point is this. It's been documented year after year after year that more than 80% of all the security issues our customers are going through on a regular basis would be non-existent. They would be at most reading about it in the newspaper if they kept their patch levels where they needed to be. Keeping patches up to date is one of those critical, yes, just mind-numbing things, but it's one of those things we've really got to bear down and do regularly. So here's the stimulus for my wanting to do this video on diligence and talk about the mundane things like backup and patch levels and that kind of stuff. I was reading an article from an organization called ARS Technica Consortium, and I've put their website here in this particular slide. I would encourage you to go get this article. It basically addresses the fact that when IT or an individual gets bombarded, actually not even bombarded, just hit with warnings about stuff, security specifically, and that's what they're talking about in this article, then it's like the brain shuts off. We get a bit calloused to the fact that there's another warning there and don't do much to it. As a matter of fact, I'm quoting the article here. It says they were doing some testing on these security individuals, feeding them security warnings. It says the MRI, or the magnetic resonance imaging technology, shows there's a precipitous drop in visual processing even after one repeated exposure to a standard security warning. And it goes up from there. I mean, as far as the precipitous drop and the brain's capacity to want to acknowledge what's going on there. The phenomenon is called habituation. And it basically is the tendency for organisms systems to show partial or complete stoppage of responses to stimuli over repeated exposure to these warnings. Did you catch that? The more you're warned in exactly the same look and feel, the less likely you are to respond. And again, this is about diligence. Diligence is about work and energy and effort. Again, I don't mean to be redundant here, but to the degree we can automate this stuff, it eliminates this. But the point is, somebody has to be minding the store. Somebody has to be paying attention to all of these issues. Not just the warnings, but the response mechanisms as well. And here's where the street turns in the opposite direction. I mean, I said some of this is going to be pretty obvious. My question to you is, what do the warnings, what do the stimulus, what do the event-generating devices look like when they're rolled out to the people that you're trying to support? Do they have the same look and feel and sound or whatever happens to be? I would suggest this same phenomenon that this study is saying happens to IT also happens to the individuals we're trying to support. My point to you is this: if we're to be diligent in dealing with all these issues and resolving those problems as we can, and our expectations are for the people that we're supporting to be diligent in doing the things that we need for them to do, updating virus definitions or whatever all the non-automated processes are, truthfully, we have to give them credit or give them the same sort of buffer that we're receiving from this habituation process. My suggestion, and that's all it is that we break up the kinds of warnings we deliver, the way it looks, the way it feels, the way it reads, and perhaps instead of doing just delivering disciplinary threats or whatever it has to be, it's a carrot stick. Why don't we roll out some carrots instead? So there. Diligence, really important, not only for how we respond to the things we're getting from the outside, but diligence is also important for the people who we're supporting and their response to us. And then the last word. I want to respond to a comment that I got on one of the other videos, and the comment was really, okay, so I want to be diligent, I want a secure environment, I want to get everything set up and put in place where it needs to be. Where do you start? If you had no real sense of where to begin. I know I've got some general stuff I need to do. Where would you start? And frankly, and I would take some response back from this if you choose to give it to me, I would start with the compliance documents. Even if you don't need to be compliant to HIPAA, FSMA, Sarbanes-Oxley, Graham-Leach, Bliley, whatever, the reason those documents are in place is the fact that they contain, if you will, sort of the baseline of what a secure environment looks like. If I become compliant, will I be completely secure? No. Why? Because everything's a moving target. But if I wanted just a laundry list of the kinds of things I needed to do to be relatively secure in this space, that 80 percentile kind of thing, or frankly, if I did the compliance documents, it would be much higher. But just to give me a baseline, I would be looking into one of those, or frankly, a series of those, because all of them are written and developed by individuals who have a total handle on what needs to be going on inside a business from a security and a compliance and a disaster recovery and business continuity perspective. That's just my thought. So, again, if you choose to like this, that'd be great. If you'd like to subscribe, I'd certainly appreciate that as well. And this is only one in a continuing series, hopefully, of these videos. I hope this has been helpful, and I thank you very much.